बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। Devotees, just try to sit up straight, close eyes and meditate on the form of the Supreme Lord and the Spiritual Master, seeking their guidance, blessings and protection. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnana-janashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhavamaha Davagni Nirvapanam Shriya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Namah Kamalana Namah Kamalamaline Namah Kamalpadaya Namaste Kamalekshana Yo Brahmanam Virdhati Purvam Yo Vedanshya Pravinodi Tasmai Tadgvam Harivam Atma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। आदरणीय पूजनीय पंडित जी, प्रिय सज्जनों, प्रिय भक्त समुदाय, महानुभाव, most worshipable Panditji, other Pandits, devotees of the Supreme Lord, the Divine Souls, dearest devotees. First, let me say Radhe Radhe to each and everyone, and my pranam, my humblest prostrations to all of you. Also, to our viewers of Bhakti TV. This is going live on Bhakti TV also. So to all of you who are viewing us on Bhakti TV, very special Radhe Radhe Pranam, and a special thanks to Pandit Satyananda Maharaj of the Satya Anand Ashram in Aragas, Panditji, who is the producer of Bhakti TV, and his team. Thank you very much. This evening, we are here at the Radha Govind Mandir, all the way in Bhatia Trace in Penal. As we begin this evening with devotion, we begin with the chanting. In the books you have, please turn to page 13. कृपा कर बरसाने वाली, तेरी कृपा का भरोसा भारी। कृपा कर बरसाने वाली, तेरी कृपा का भरोसा भारी। कृपा कर बरसाने वाली, कृपा का भरोसा भारी। कृपा कर बरसाने वाली, कृपा का भरोसा भारी। तेरा मन कृपा का प्यारी, तेरा संग कृपा का प्यारी। तेरा मन कृपा का प्यारी, तेरा संग कृपा का प्यारी। तेरी कृपा तो कृपा है प्यारी, तेरा कोप भी कृपा है प्यारी। तेरी कृपा तो कृपा है प्यारी, तेरा कोप भी कृपा है प्यारी। ओ कृपा कर बरसाने वाली, कृपा का भरोसा भारी। कृपा कर बरसाने वाली, कृपा का भरोसा भारी। तेरी कृपा का बनवारी, कृपा तेरी कृपा की है बलिहारी। कृपा पर कृपा करे प्यारी, ऐसी कृपा पर वारी वारी। कृपा पर कृपा करे प्यारी, ऐसी कृपा पर वारी वारी। ओ We ask Radha Rani to shower her grace upon us. Kripa Karu Kripa. I depend only on your grace, your Kripa. One line here says, Teri Kripa to Kripa, Kop bhi Kripa hai pyari. When you shower your grace upon me, your merciful nature, it is grace that is known. But even your anger, what seems to be your anger, when I get punishment, something happens in the world that seems to be opposite, negative, that is also your kripa, your grace. Tera kop bhi. This is not easily understood. Hopefully tonight we'll understand a little bit about that. First to begin, there are 4 kinds of people in the world. 4 प्रकार के लोग हैं. इहैवैकस्य नामुत्र अमुत्रैकस्य नो इह. इह चामुत्र चैकस्य नामुत्रैकस्य नो इह. 4 kinds of people. यहाँ है और वहाँ भी है. नंबर 1, पहला. दूसरा, यहाँ है वहाँ नहीं है. तीसरा, यहाँ नहीं है वहाँ है. और चौथा, यहाँ भी नहीं है वहाँ भी नहीं है. 4 kinds. Firstly, has here, has there. Number 1. Number 2, has here, doesn't have there. Number 3, doesn't have here, has there. And number 4, doesn't have here, doesn't have there also. Don't worry, you'll understand. Now, has here, doesn't have there, and doesn't have here has there, this is natural. ये नियम है. It's a natural law. But has here, has there, doesn't have here, doesn't have there, this is not natural. It's very rare. There's very few exceptions to the rule, but it's not natural. Okay, let's understand. Has here, doesn't have there. What does it mean? These people have something in excess in the world. Wealth. They're very wealthy. Beauty, strength, position, something in excess in the world. So they do not feel the inclination to love God, to worship God. They don't care about going to Mandir, about doing puja, about worshiping God, etc. There's no natural inclination, natural desire. What's the need of God? The Bible says it is easier for a camel to enter the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Of course, most Christians don't understand what this means. Challenge. Because they think that if you accept Christ, you will get everything in the world. You'll become a very rich man. That's what most of them preach. Accept Christ and you'll become a billionaire. You will attain a good job. You will get everything in the world. Just accept Christ. And Christ is saying the opposite. How many Christians understand what Christ said? How many pastor? How many preacher? Zero. If a person who is very wealthy, has a very high position in the world, very beautiful, has something excess in the world, were to ask himself in private, go in a room, in your own room in private, and ask yourself, do I have pride? Am I proud? No. Who is given the answer? The intellect, which is governed by pride, self-pride, false pride. It's not going to go against itself. In the Ramayana too, it says, नहीं को आस, नहीं को आस, जन्मा जग माही, प्रभुता पाई जाहि मद नाही। जय राम श्री नहीं को अस जन्मा जग माही, प्रभुता पाही जाहि मद नाही. Tulsidas Maharaj is saying in the Ramayana, there never was, nor is, nor will there be a person in the world who've acquired something in excess, status, position, wealth, beauty, and has not become arrogant. Jahi mad nahi. That's why the Christ is saying, it is easier. When did he say this? Once the Christ was going with his 12 disciples somewhere, he happened to come to the home of a very rich man, very rich person. And he treated them very nicely. He treated everyone. And he looked at these 12 disciples and he looked at the Christ. They had nothing in the worldly sense. Their clothes seemed to be very raggedy and torn. They walked, most of them were bare feet. The Christ rode on a donkey. But everyone seemed to be so happy. All the 12 of them. There was a glow about them. So he asked the Christ, can I also become one of your disciples? And the Christ said, no. And he said, why? And this is where he made the statement. It is easier for a camel to enter the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. You're so rich, that's why. It brings arrogance. You're too arrogant. It brings arrogance. Of course, not written in the Bible. They call it parables, people, because they don't understand what he's saying. Where he got this from? Actually, he got it from India. The 12 mission years that nobody knows about, he was in India. Those mission years. Studying from a great yogi. He had taken shelter. So all what is called parables, they are all Vedantic sayings. But because they can't understand what he's saying, they say parable. And they put their own meaning. So here in the Ramayana is telling us why. You see, the Ramayana gives the answer. Nahi kovas janma jagamahi prabhuta pahi jahi madnahi. That you have acquired something in excess. What does it do? It brings arrogance. And that's why it's very difficult. Even God and the saints cannot turn such an arrogant person towards God. There's only one cure, one remedy for such a person who is intoxicated with wealth, position, etc. Bhagavad says, Asatah Shri Madan Dhasya Daridram Paramanjanam Atmaupamyena Bhutani Daridrah Paramikshate. Bhagavad Mahapuran, 10th canto, 10th chapter, 13th verse. The Bhagavad says, only when the reason for that person's arrogance is taken away, destroyed. In other words, if he's very wealthy, that wealth is destroyed. He's very strong, powerful, he gets a sickness and becomes very weak, etc. Is he brought back to his senses? There is no other way. There's only cure to bring him back. For that ailment, this arrogance, this intoxication with what he has in the world. It's very difficult. The second one doesn't have here, has there. This is also natural. These people don't have too much material wealth. They have a little bit, but not too much. So they raise their eyes towards God. They will go Mandir, they'll pray, they will do puja, they will worship God. There's some faith, belief in God. This is also natural. Now let us come to the exceptions to the rule. There are two. Number 3, has here, has there. This is very rare. But there are few exceptions to the rule. These people, although they are very rich, bahut dhanvan hai, very rich. Remember the law that a very rich person, because it brings arrogance, has no inclination. Yet, you will find sometime that a person is very, very rich, very beautiful, has very high position, yet is very devoted to God. This is the exception to the rule. And in the Gita, Shri Krishna tells us, Prapya punya kitam loka anushitva shashwati samaha Shuchinam Srimatam Gehu Yoga Bhrashto Bhijayate. Chapter 6, verse 41, Gita. Because these people have acquired 90% spiritual power in their past life, they had attained 90% love for God, there was 10% remaining for them to attain perfection, so they have to take birth again in the world. They reached very high, 90%. But they did not attain perfection, so there's 10% remaining, they have to take birth again. These people are normally born in very wealthy home, very beautiful, etc., very wealthy home. But they remain detached from the world and attached to God due to the sanskars, the mental tendencies stored in the mind from the past life. Very rare, but there are few. The second exception to the rule, which is number 4, doesn't have here, doesn't have there also. These people, they don't have anything in the world. Very poor. Yet they don't have any belief in God. They have nothing to do with God. They will curse God. They have no interest in God. This is not a rule. This is very rare, but there are some. Few. To forget God is quite natural only for those who possess tremendous wealth, etc. And this is why Shri Krishna has a divine law. A divine law. God says in Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, Tam Bhranshayami sampadbhyo yasya chechamya nugraham. Bhagavat Mahapuran, 10th Canto, 27, chapter 16, verse. Listen carefully, it's very important. Bhagavan is saying, Shri Krishna is saying, I deliberately take away all the material possessions. Everything. Wife, husband, mother, father, children, wealth, health, status. Everything from those I shower my grace upon. We people, generally in the world, we think that when we have everything in the world, materially, we have a good home, our family is very good, we have children, the children are very good, my husband is very loving, my wife is very dutiful, etc. I have everything that God is very graceful, merciful to me. And that when I do not have these things, I get very sick, etc. I lose my wealth, that God is punishing me. I must have done something very wrong. But Shri Krishna emphatically says in Bhagavad, Yasyaham anugrihnami harishye tadhanam shanaihi. I snatch away, forcibly snatch away all the material possessions from those I shower my grace upon, so that they will accept no one and nothing in the world as their own but me alone. God alone is my everything. Then that will happen. Because as long as we have things in the world, we're going to be attached. And as long as we are attached in the world, we cannot be attached to God and the world at the same time. Why? Udho manana bhaye das bis. Udho manana bhaye das bis. We only have one mind. Ek man. If we had two minds, then we can take one mind and give it to the world, attach it to the world, and one mind and give to Bhagavan, attach to Bhagavan. But mind is only one. So either we attach that one mind of ours to the world, or we attach it to Bhagavan. That's why Shri Krishna says, in order to become spiritual, in order to get close to God, detachment has to come. Vairagya. Detachment. Arjun says, Chanchalami mana Krishna pramati balavaddham tasyaham nigaham manye vayuriva sudushkaram. Chapter 6, verse 34, Gita. Shri Krishna is saying to Arjun, telling Arjun over and over, control the mind, control the mind. Arjun replies to Shri Krishna and says, how to control this mind? It is so strong, turbulent and unyielding. It's more difficult to control the mind than it is to control the wind. And Shri Krishna agreed with Arjun. Asanshaya mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam. I agree with you. Arjun, 100% agree with you. The mind is indeed difficult. Durnigra means difficult. Not impossible. The word asambhav means impossible. Shri Krishna is not saying asambhav. He says durnigra. Durnigraham. The mind is difficult to control. I agree with you. But it can be done. It can be done. How? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Through constant practice and detachment, vairagya, the mind will come under our control. Look, our attachment to the world and attachment to God, we can compare it to a balance. Long ago, when people used to weigh things, they had a balance. You had two plates on either side. It's a balance, two plates. And you held in the middle. One side you put the weight, and the other side you put the thing you're going to weigh. Nowadays we have electric scale, all kind of thing, but this was the way. So you had this balance with two plates. So if our attachment is very great, let's suppose in this our attachment for the world, right? What will happen? The plate will be like this. If our attachment for the world, for people, for objects in the world is very great, the plate on this side will go all the way down. This one will be all, in other words, we'll have zero or very little attachment or interest in God. But as our interest in God increases, the attachment for the world will get lessened. In other words, when we have less attachment for the world, then we can have attachment for God. In ancient times, people had, there was little things in the world to attach the mind to. Materialism was very small, very less, and so spiritualism was very high. In this age of Kali Yuga, materialism is on the increase, very high, and spirituality is very low. People say to me, Swamiji, people are they're so devotional, so many people are going to Mandir, so many people are going to the church, to the masjid. Really? Lots of people are going. Because they have been promised material things. Majority of people who are going to the Mandir, they're doing puja. They're going to the church, the masjid, the Gurudwara. What are they going for? Because they think if they go, someone has put that conviction in them. If they pray to God, they will get the world. They pray like that. Oh Lord, please let me get a good job. My wife is very sick. Please cure her. Please let my child pass his exam. Oh, I want to get a very beautiful girl to get married with. I want to get a very handsome boy to get married. My wife is giving trouble. Please fix her. We pray for the world. And we are taught, most spiritual people who are considered to be one who is supposed to direct us, they are telling us to pray for the world. Because they themselves want the world. Blind leading the blind. The Vedas tell us, avidyaya mantare vartamana swayam dhira panditam manyamana janghanyamana pariyanti mudha andhe naivanyamana yathandha. Mundak Upanishad first, Mundak second Kand, 8th mantra. The Vedas say, people who read the scriptures and they think that they are very knowledgeable, but do not understand the true purport of the scriptures, what they are saying, and they interpret the scripture to mean that pray to God for the world, to look for happiness in the world, in heaven, etc. They are fools. Mood. And people who believe them and go to them is a case of blind leading the blind. Andhe naivanyamana yathandha. They are going to hell and taking you to hell also. If I myself don't have that conviction that happiness I'm looking for, I cannot find it in the world, in any person or object, that I'll find happiness only in God and Shri Krishna. Because God is happiness. How many spiritual men, whether he's a Swami or whatever, Babaji, whoever, have that conviction that happiness is only in God, only in Shri Krishna. They wear yellow clothes, white clothes, whatever kind of clothes, long beard, long hair, no hair, all kinds of marks of being a spiritual man. Doesn't mean anything. Clothes doesn't make the man. Clothes doesn't make the man. And that's how we judge. We think somebody is wearing orange clothes, yellow clothes, he has long beard, long hair, no hair, marks on the forehead, malas, that he's a godman, he's a guru, and we worship him. In the Ramayana, Tulsidas tells us in the Ramayana, Lakhi Suvesh Jagvanchak Jeru Vesh Pratap Puji Ahi Antaryami, we can't see what a person is on the inside, so we judge externally. You know, there's a saying in English, don't judge a book by its cover. And that's what we do. You see somebody, my blood and take him. We immediately make judgment about someone by looking at the color of their skin, what race they belong to, what country they belong to, what religion, and we give a judgment without knowing anything. That's not what a person is by looking externally. Look inside, but we can't see on the inside because we're not antaryami. So we judge externally, and most time we end up giving wrong judgment. Wrong judgment. Here Tulsidas says, Lakhi Suvesha Jagavan Chakajeu Vesha Pratap Puji Ahiteu. Seen impostors, worldly people, in the outward clothes, garb of spiritual man, we accept them as being saint, guru, and we start worshipping them. But we get nothing. Don't judge someone as a guru or a saint, a spiritual man by just what the clothes he wears, what the kind of things, his behavior. And that's why we have to associate for some time, spend time in the company. This is a satsang. Spend time in his company. See. Slowly, slowly you will understand who he is. So we have to have, I have to have the conviction myself. Who is God? What is God? Where is the happiness? Why should I want to know God? If I myself am not convinced, if I myself am convinced that I will get happiness in the world, in worldly things, in money, in children, in wealth, in position, then I will tell my congregation, those who are following me, to pray for the same thing. And that's what we do. We tell the people who are there following us, child, okay, now close your eyes, clasp your hands together, put your hands together, and pray to God for health and wealth and strength. Pray for the world. How many people say to those who have come to them, now close your eyes, clasp your hands together, and pray to God to love him selflessly? Not to ask for anything. You don't have to ask. God alone knows what's best for us. We don't even know what to ask for. We'll end up asking for the wrong thing. For the wrong thing. Once, Bhagwan met Indra. Indra, the king of heaven. He is the king of heaven, the god of rain, Indra. So Indra had the good fortune of meeting Bhagwan, and Bhagwan, Shri Krishna's his nature, whoever he meets, he tells them to ask for a boon. So he told Indra, ask for a boon. Baram Bruhi. He said, I want a most beautiful woman for a wife. Bhagwan looked one at once and started laughing. Gadha, this fool. Bhagwan says, I am Bhagwan, I am telling you ask, think about it carefully. Indra said, no, that's what I want. So Bhagwan said, okay, no problem. Bhagwan through his yoga, Maya, Brihaspati, seen this, he never saw this lady before. Where does this new lady come from? Indra brought her and he went and bowed to the Guru. So Guruji said, who is this? Indra said, Guruji, I am so happy today. I am so fortunate. Today I had the great fortune of meeting Bhagwan Shri Krishna. And he told me to ask for a boon. And she's what I asked for. Please bless us, Guruji. The Guru got so angry, he scolded Indra. You dumb fool. You have tarnished the name of your Guru. Bhagwan came to you and all you have millions of women already in Swaram. Any choice is yours. All you could think about is asking for a woman. You have tarnished the name of your Guru. Now when this is the position of Indra, the king of heaven, imagine what our condition would be. So we don't ask. You have to love God selflessly. Nishkam prem. Selfless love. Bhagwan said to Kak Basundaji, Doha, Kaghabu Sundar
मांगु हर अति प्रसन्न मोहि जाय। हो रामा अति प्रसन्न मोहि जाय। अनिमादिक सिद्धि अपर निधि मोक्ष सकल सुख खाय। हो रामा मोक्ष सकल सुख खाय। सियावर रामचंद्र कर जय शरणम शंकर हरि ओम। जय जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम।
Bhagavan says to Kagbasunda ji, his dear devotee, he says, Kagbasunda ji, I am extremely pleased with you. Ati prasann mohijan. I will give you anything that you desire. Kagbasunda ji says, Maharaj, I don't want anything. I have everything. I have you. What are you going to give anyhow? Bhagavan says, you want to hear? Haan, batao. Tell me. I will give you animadik siddhi. Siddhi is the powers to perform miracles. People hear siddhi and they go crazy. They think it's a great thing. Anima, laghima, garima. I'll give you nidhi, great treasures, and moksha, the best of attainments. You see, Bhagavan tries to fool his own devotee. His own devotee. This is nature. Everybody has a nature, so Bhagavan has a nature also. Whenever he meets a devotee, he tests them. He tests them, tries to make a fool out of them, see how good they are. If they had the right guru, and the guru taught them properly, no matter what Bhagavan say, they will not fail. Because there is nothing in moksha. A devotee doesn't want moksha. He looks upon moksha like a churail, a demoness. Bhukti mukti sprihayavat pishachi hridi vartate tavat bhakti sukasyat katamabhyudayo bhavet. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhukti, desire for the material world as well as heaven combined. Worldly happiness is called bhukti, and mukti, liberation. They are called pisachini, demonesses. As long as desire for bhukti and mukti in the heart of an individual, Bhakti Mahadevi will never come, the goddess of divine love. The devotee stays very far away. Dur, dur. You don't experience, because look, what experiences happiness and sorrow? The mind. Sukh dukh ka anubhav karne wala man. Man. But the jnani, the one who is trying to attain moksha, liberation, he destroys the mind. And the soul, the Atma, which is a non-doer, merges and becomes one with the formless absolute Brahman. There is infinite happiness in Brahmanand, but there is nobody to experience. You have destroyed the experience. Kagbasunda ji wasn't fooled. Kagbasunda ji said, Maharaj, the Guru had taught Kagbasunda ji very well. Kagbasunda ji said, Maharaj, these toys, ye khelona hai, toys, give it to those who want them. There's something you are hiding. You're not telling me about. Bhagavan doesn't give that easily. He hides it. Bhagavan says, I'm hiding it. Kagbasunda ji says, you want me to tell you what it is? Bhagavan says, yes. Let's hear. Doha.
अविरल भक्ति विशुद्ध तव श्रुति पुराण जेहि गाय। ओ रामा श्रुति पुराण जेहि गाय। जेहि खोजत योगीश मुनि प्रभु प्रसाद को पाय। ओ रामा प्रभु प्रसाद को पाय। सियावर राम Nagbasundji said, my Lord, if you insist on giving me something, give me avirala bhakti. Avirala bhakti means nishkam prem. Loving God only for His happiness. Tat sukha sukhitvam. Naraji says in Narad Bhakti Sutra, to be happy in the happiness of the beloved. Many different names, Avirala Bhakti, Vishuddha Bhakti, Anapayani Bhakti, Shivji. Bar bar var mangahu, Harsh Deva Shri Rang. When Bhagwan was put on the throne and everyone was leaving, they glorified the Lord. The last one was Shiv Bhagwan. Shivji is saying to Sri Ram, again and again, my Lord, I ask you for something, if it pleases you. If you don't want to give, it's fine, but if it pleases you. What? Avirala Bhakti Vishuddha Tower. No. Anapayani Bhakti. Bar bar var mangahu, Harsh Deva Shri Rang, Pad Saroj Anapayani, Bhakti Sada Satsang. Pad Saroj, the lotus feet. Anapayani Bhakti, give me Anapayani, selfless love for your lotus feet. Selfless love. And the association of the true saints forever. That's all I want. Devotee, Avirala Bhakti, Vishuddha Bhakti, Anapayani Bhakti, Nishkam Prem, selfless love. Give me that selfless love that makes you a slave. Bhagwan becomes a slave to the one who loves him selflessly. The Vedas and Shruti Purana Jehi Gav, all the scriptures glorify. Jehi Ko Jata Yogisha Muni, Rishi Muni are searching for it. But only those upon whom you shower your grace can attain that Vishuddha Bhakti, that selfless love. That one He doesn't give easily. Look, today, this very rich person is surrounded by so many well-wishers. A doctor, a teacher, an engineer, a politician, lawyer, so many well-wishers. And that rich man is illiterate. He never went to school. He may say the most foolish thing. Everybody says, yes, sir. Now he's become bankrupt. He sees the doctor going somewhere. Doc, please wait. My wife is very sick. The doctor says, I have no time. You have no time? But before you used to come to my home and spend hours and hours and hours and relax and spend time with me. Mr. Rich Man, before rich man, you are very naive. Briksham kshina phalam tyajanti bihagaha shushkam sarasar saha pushpam dajanti madhupa dagdham vanantam mrigaha nirdravyam purusham tyajanti ganika bhrashtashriyam mantinaha sarvah kaj vasha jano bhiramate kasyasti ko vallabha. Bhakti Hari. Mr. Rich Man, listen carefully before you rich man. I am that bird. I am that bird, that pakshi, that bird, that when there are fruits on the tree, without anyone calling, the bird will come, will sit, will eat, will sing. And when the fruits finish in the tree, the bird flies away. Now if anyone even calls, the bird doesn't come. You think I'm devoted to you? No, it was the big wad of bills you were given to me. Now that you're bankrupt, I have no time to even speak to you. So it is the loss of worldly possession, not the attainment, which is a sign of God's grace. Until and unless we understand and accept this divine law, we will pretend to do bhakti devotion, but we will not get anywhere. As long as we think that the acquirement of worldly possession is a sign of God's grace, we're not going to get anywhere. As a matter of fact, one day we'll become an atheist. Anyone who believes when you pray to God, God fulfills your worldly desires, one day you're going to become an atheist, a non-believer. You'll stop believing in God. So it's not the attainment, but the loss of worldly possessions, which is a sign of God's grace. As only then we can truly say from deep in the heart, Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva. O Lord, hey Shri Krishna, I have no one and nothing in the world but you alone. You alone are my mommy, you alone are my dad, you alone are my everything. If I have a big bank balance, then Dravinang Tvameva, you alone are my wealth, will only be a pretense. We cannot say from the heart. We only say from the lips. How can I say God alone is my wealth? What about the money in the bank? That's mine too. Just as when a child is attached to some toy, he forgets to drink milk, eat food, even though he's very hungry. But he's so attached to the toy. But if the parent is smart, she takes the toys away, she takes away the toy and hides it. Now that the toy is no longer in front of the child remembers the mother, cries, and gets immediate attention. In the same way, when we cry for the Lord, our true mother, the real mother of the soul, the Atma, we cry for her from the depth of our heart with a feeling of complete helplessness, longing and helplessness, she will come. No other action works. No gyan, no karma, no yoga, no tapasya, no jap, no puja. Nothing else works except a feeling of true longing and yearning for the Lord. And that will only come when we are deprived of worldly possessions, which is a definite barrier in the path of bhakti, love in God. A lot of people are going to listen to this lecture tonight and have their discussion and say, I don't care what he's saying. He's crazy. Of course, because we're very attached to the material world. The decision to come in the mind that there's no happiness to be found in any person or object in the world, and that the happiness I'm looking for I'll find only in God, is very difficult to happen, bhaiya. That can only happen when we associate with a true saint. That's why it says in the Ramayana, Binu satasanga viveka na hoi, Rama kripa binu sulabha na soi. Sat sang, sat means sant, saint, sang, association. Only when we associate with the true guru, a true saint, will we acquire true knowledge, and that association will only come when God will shower His grace. How do we know if somebody is a saint? True guru. When we associate with a true saint in the right way, our attachment for the material world, which we couldn't have gotten rid of by ourselves from uncountable lifetimes, will slowly start decreasing. An attachment for God, love for God, will slowly start increasing. This is a test that you're in the association of a saint, a true God. If the opposite is happening, then you're in big trouble. Big trouble. Because knowledge, true knowledge will come. So yes, a lot of people were going to argue and say this man is crack. What is he talking about? Not to love the world, love only God. That's what happens. I'm not saying destroy your material possessions. I'm not saying go now and burn down your house and give away your motor car and give away the bank balance. No, no. That you should divorce your husband or wife or disown your parents or children. No, don't do that. Just realize that no one and nothing belongs to me. Just as I belong only to God, I, the soul, the Atma, in the same way, everyone and everything in the world belongs only to God. We sing bhajan. People sing, but they have no idea what they're singing. How many people believe that God is the giver and benefactor of everything, of all, and that we all beggars? How many people believe? Zero. And yet we will sing, Data ikram, Bhikari sari duniya, Data ikram. We want to go competition with Hari Om Sharan. That's all we care about, how well I sound. What the bhajan mean, how many people feel in their heart or accept it. This is what it's saying. Data karam, that God, Ram, the God, is the giver and benefactor of all, and that we are all beggars. Nothing belongs to us. No one and nothing belongs to us. Everything belongs to God. Don't just sing bhajan because it's song nice, bhaiya. Don't say prayers because it's song nice. Understand what you're saying. Understand what you're singing. Then it will bring benefit. It's not a blind religion. Everything in Sanatana Dharma is logical. It's the most logical religion. It's the greatest. I'm not putting on any religion, but there's something very special about Sanatana Dharma. We can find answers to every question. Every question you have, unlike any other religion. Some religion says, people who believe in other religion, there's nothing like reincarnation. It's there, they have taken it out from the Bible, etc. They have taken it out. It is there. Even today, there's a couple of examples. John the Baptist, straight case of reincarnation. That one they did not remove. They have removed many. So how, if God is such a just and loving God and there's nothing like reincarnation, why are some people born very rich and some very poor, some very healthy, some very sick in the same home? One person is so healthy, another one is sick. One without arm, without leg. Why all this indiscrepancy in the world? If God is a loving and just God, He should give everyone the same. Treat everyone the same. They have no answer. Whatever God does, we can't understand. That's all they will say. We understand. We have an answer, bhaiya. In Sanatana Dharma, we have answer for every question. Challenge. So we just have to realize, perform your duty. Do your duty. This is what Gita is teaching us. One line in the Gita, the whole Gita is given. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhya cha. Chapter 8, verse 7, Gita. Shri Krishna says to Arjun, Tasmat sarveshu, at all place, kaleshu, at all time, mamanusmara, attach your mind, lovingly attach your heart, your mind to God. Remember Him. Ayudhya cha, your kshatri, do your duty. Perform your duty in the world. Karma, duty. Attaching our heart, our mind to God, bhakti. Bhakti plus duty, that is karma yoga. Very few people understand. Very few. That's the whole teaching of the Gita. There's nothing else in the Gita. Nothing else. That's all Sri Krishna is trying to make Arjuna understand. The whole Gita. Ramakrishna Paramahansa, a great saint, said, let a boat rest on the water, but let not the water come into the boat. Let a man live in the world, let not the world live in the man. We have to learn how to live in the world. Attaching our heart, our mind to God. Do your duty. Nobody says neglect your duty. Perform duty to husband, husband to wife, to children, to parent. Do your duty. But with the heart, the mind attached to God. Everybody wants duty. That's what they want. You do your duty, nobody has a problem. Right? There's much more, but we'll stop here. Tonight, the rest we'll hear another time. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki jai. Siyavar Ramchandra ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri